All right, welcome to Indigenous Avenue. I'm Big B, your host, and today we got somebody special. This right here is Truman Merrifield. What's going on, Truman?
Hey, Truman. I mean, hey, Brutus.
Look at that, look at that. I'm Truman too, I guess.
I think I just repeated you.
Hey, you did. All right. So what is it you do now?
Currently.
Yeah.
You talking about school? Are you talking about work? Are you talking about my work at school?
Whoa.
Are you talking about my family?
Wow. This guy's got a lot going on. Let's start off with school. What are you going to school for?
All right. So I go to school for 2 degrees at Central Oregon Community College. One is called the Forest Resource Technology. So it's basically forestry. Okay. My other one I am going for is the Wildland Fire Fields Management.
With that, you could actually go to school. It's not like a hands-on.
No.
Seems like if you're a wildland firefighter, you get taught.
Well, there's still S courses and fire courses that you have to obtain.
And I've recently heard that you are a student body of, or president of something. What's this all about?
Oh, yes, exactly. I'm the student body president for the COCC student government.
What does that mean?
That means I'm the CEO and chairman of meetings for the student government.
So like that entails like classes, schedules,
yes.
finances, stuff like that. They got to come to you.
Mainly budgets.
Mainly budgets.
Yes.
Okay.
So all these student fees that we get, student government handles. So that includes myself. I have a VP of Student Affairs, a VP of Legislative Affairs, branch coordinator, office coordinator, 2 coordinators individually, and a human resource.
Sweet. So how did you get that? How did you become the president?
Well, it all started off with a student fee committee. It was just brought to my attention from faculty if I would like to be on this committee, where we as a committee overlooked the budgets and proposals for the school through the Broadside newspaper, the ASCOCC, student government, and the intramural sports. They get together and they propose these budgets, and we would either approve or disapprove a certain amount for them to have for the following year. And from there on, it just got asked if I wanted to get any more involved. And I was like, yeah, what is out there? And, well, we have a student government. What would you like to do? I was like, well, what's the main thing? Student president. All right, well, if I want to go, I'll go for the student president.
There you go. And did you have to, like, campaign for it?
I did.
Oh, yeah?
I did. So last June, whole month of June, I campaigned. I handed out flyers, buttons to students on all campuses and asked them if they understood student government, and if they didn't, and if they elect me, I would make it known.
Ooh, there you go. A hands-on student body president. I like it.
So actually, I got elected. So this is an elected position through the students of COCC, and it was me and another candidate. So it was.
Did you guys have any debates, or was it?
Oh, we did.
Really?
We did, yeah, we did.
And the students got to ask y'all questions, and then you guys get to.
Oh, there were some students, but it was more faculty and talk about nervous. Whole bunch of all these bigwigs, the actual president of the school, the VPs, and all that.
Yeah, studying
around. I mean,
wow, that'd be awesome to see, man. Yeah, and then I also read somewhere that you did some kind of trails project with CrickFit.
Oh yeah, I did. That was, I believe, 2 years ago when I was working with Water and Soils with John Treasure, and I submitted this proposal, see if I could get granted a grant, basically, to host my own kind of research project within the Warm Springs Reservation. And what I basically outlined was, okay, so I want to study the different impacts and effects of harvesting through logging. And I looked at 3 different types of stands, which was a old growth, a clear cut, and a pre-commercial thin, and what kind of effects they had on the understory vegetation, the soil compaction, and the soil moisture. And I did all my reading, I did all my research, and I submitted the final, and they liked it.
Sweet. And what did you get from CrickFit out of that?
That they wanted me to return. They wanted me to do another one. Yeah, they liked how I wrote everything and what my findings were. I was planning to do another one, but I didn't. I ended up doing more credit classes with COCC, so I couldn't return. Basically, I found out, like, for instance, the deer, the elk prefer a 40-year-old regrowth stand. They're always in those stands, basically, and the stand that holds the most and least water is old growth. I found that interesting myself. I don't know.
Yeah. What exactly does that mean? Like a tree that's older.
Yeah, it was real big.
Yeah. So that's the one that they rub their horns on or whatever?
Yeah.
That's what they prefer.
No, the 40-year-old stands. These ones that
okay.
are like replanted or.
Oh, I got you. Okay. When do you graduate school?
This spring term, actually, in June.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what you going to do? What's the plans after that?
I'm not quite sure. My mind goes back and forth of if I want to continue or if I want to take a year break and figure out everything at work.
So you're a full-time worker as well?
I am.
What do you do?
So I just started back in April, back at Fire Management. I'm a new fuels technician. So that basically means I go out and observe these selected areas on the landscape that my supervisor and management basically picked for hazardous fuels reduction. So I go out there and I look at what needs to be treated, how it needs to be treated, if there's prescribed fire that needs to be put back into the ecosystem. And I write this proposal. And if it gets passed through all the managers, I could follow through with that proposal and implement strategies into reducing hazardous fuels so fire won't be so intense and stand replacement fire would occur.
Is that why, like, when you cruise in the woods, you see, like, trees laid down and they're not as thick when you go through them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And I heard in some places they burn it on purpose, too, right? Because there's been times when I went hunting and you see these piles of trees or whatever, and they're just burning. But it's not going nowhere. It just looks like smoke coming out.
Oh, yeah. Those are just basically smoldering, probably during the wintertime or fall time you've seen those, and there's no threat for potential of growth.
Yeah. Sweet. And so learning all this, does that help you? Are you a hunter?
Yes, sir, I am.
There you go. So all this kind of helps and ties into all that, too.
It does. You get to understand more aspects besides just the fire and hazardous fuels reduction. I actually work closely with forestry and the wildlife department. It's a whole collaboration with natural resources.
So when I'm out there hunting and I'm lucky to see one, you actually know where to go.
Well, yeah, I guess you could call it that. And plus, just getting the basic understandings through these courses at class, how they talk about wildlife and what their habitats are and what their seasonal winter migrations are and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, next hunting season, I'm going with you, man.
That's what everybody's saying.
Yeah, right. And so as far as your work, what are you learning there?
Here at Fire Management?
Yeah.
I guess basically when I started school, I got the field experience and understanding, so I had the upper hand in a couple of my courses at class. Then once I'm introduced to all these tech writings and tech math and all these advanced courses, now I'm bringing it back to work so I could,
so it's the opposite now.
Yeah.
Now you're bringing stuff to work.
Yes, at least I'm attempting to. Hopefully my strategy and my style will be accepted.
Yeah. Okay. And then climate change. So you were part of this climate change when it first started, or?
The climate change working group? Yeah. I was one of the, you could call it original persons to form that with John Treasure in the Water and Soils Department. Basically, that was in 2013, I believe, that group started. And we just wanted to try and do something different for the tribes and supporting and enhancing these best management practices through natural resources with climate change impacts, specifically for our traditional foods, which are, well noticeable that are impacted with the roots, water quality for the salmon, the deer habitat, and the huckleberries, all this environment and ecosystems. It's just basically lately it's been drought. A lot of drought going on, mainly in the northern portion of the reservation. We just like to come together, have these monthly meetings, and brainstorm together with other natural resource departments, tribal committees, and see what kind of at least grant proposals that we could have for additional positions in natural resources for employees and, like additional equipment like bobcats for hazardous fuels reduction. We kept on keeping up on our water quality and water flows. I could go on all day about it.
Yeah. So climate change, and then you've seen the effect, like working there?
Yeah, actually, the last time I was with Water and Soil, I believe it was in February of 2014. Mm. 2014, our water flows were at June-like flows in February. So they were way low. They were way saturated, and I can't speak directly for everybody but that's what I see next.
Yeah. And then, so the snow that we got now is actually kind of good
for now.
It could just because it could just be replacing what had already been.
Yeah, well, as very well as I know, this snow right now, it's good, but as long as it stays consistent with the next coming years, it would be very good. But people see all this snow as another climate change trend.
Ah, got you.
So it's basically just these cycles of seasons, and this extra snow right now, people see it as good. Some firefighters see it as like this next coming summer may be another big fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all the snow, it's going to help build all this grass and shrub to higher levels where it could reach the trees.
And working with firefighting, is it more natural things that happen, like dry thunderstorms, or is it man-made that's mostly?
Recently, it's been man-made.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we still get our lightning and thunderstorms that occur regularly. Last few years, I believe there were less than normal. It just basically depends, like I was saying, on these cycles of if or when these thunderstorms will occur and what month, and if the temperature is hot enough.
Yeah, they don't keep it going.
Yeah. Like, for instance, the County Line 2 fire, and that was just by a flat tire on a trailer, and see how big that grew. So,
yeah.
So
what can we do to prevent those kind of things from happening?
I don't know. I can't. That's a big question, even just for me.
Yeah. Because and even honestly, I've heard growing up sometimes, and this could be wrong, but that some people light fires on purpose.
Yes.
For the purpose of having a job and going to work. Is that true?
I don't know. But I know that's true more on the other states and stateside level where all these arsonists, and I believe it was last year that there was arsonist fires that were occurring down towards La Pine, and they were slowly coming up through Bend and Redmond. So I don't know if individuals are doing those purposefully. I can't speak for nobody. I don't know.
Yeah. And then working with the wildland firefighters, where's the farthest place you got to go fight a fire?
Alaska.
What was that like?
It was different.
Yeah.
A lot of people see this tundra and all this vegetation that seems real consumed by water, but once you get up there, all that black spruce burns way hotter than the lower 48 states.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fire intensity is just it's something. It's different than down here.
And then being in those fires, like you guys got a camp there, you guys got everything set up.
Oh yeah.
What's that like?
Oh, you get used to it. You have to find your right spot, and before, like up in Alaska, it rained, and the tundra, it was just real damp. So everything, our clothes, our boots were just wet every day, and so you just have to find the exact spot for your crew to camp.
So even with rain, there's still fire going on.
Yes.
Wow. How do you guys fight with that?
More of a indirect. Well, so there's like a direct suppression and the indirect suppression, where direct is where you're up to the flames that is under 3 feet. So you're right next to the fire. And the indirect is if it's, blowing up, and if it's real active, you're like up to at least a mile away and prepping for another line or a burnout or whatever.
Do you guys see any animals out there, like wildlife, like bears or elk or?
When we was in Alaska, we seen actually moose escaping the fire and just swimming across the lake like nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
How big are moose? I heard moose are like huge.
They're tall. They're tall.
Taller than horses?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like 2 times a horse.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see a moose. Yeah, I want to go to Yellowstone National Park. I want to see a bear. I want to see wolves. I want to see elk.
Oh, me too. I want to go there.
Yeah. Everything except for alligator. That's the only thing I don't want to see is an alligator. Thank God we live in the Northwest,
And I think it was 2011. There was a fire up in the Mountains in Warm Springs, and all we heard was this crew on the other side of the hill just yell real loud, "Bear!" And we heard something running towards us, so we all got prepared for a bear.
Yeah. Wow. And you can't take weapons out there, just with like a Pulaski and some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was scared, and it was more scared than us than we were scared of them.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it just ran the other direction.
Yeah. Wow. That would be awesome. So getting back to school.
Okay.
Originally, what did you go to school for?
The first one I was talking about was the Forest Resource Tech.
Yeah. Why that?
I guess you could say it all started off with when I was at fire management on the engine crew and hotshot crew, and that those 2 crews always get laid off seasonally.
Oh, gotcha.
And I just wanted to take a different approach, different aspect, and see if I could understand the upper management of natural resource and fire management, and see if I could become a part of it. So I figured, okay, so if I start an education, continue, it may be possible I could accept or become a permanent employee, which I am right now.
Yeah. Also, I've heard, okay, so there's another question I have about people who go to school and come back. A lot of people have these positions here that they've held for like maybe 15, 20 years, right? So it's hard for them to let go. So is it better to find a job that has to be created so there's funding available, or is it better to go underneath somebody and then be like their predecessor or be molded into that position?
Kind of a hard question.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, for me, when I was over at Water and Soil, I was doing all this education, these 2 degrees I just shared with you. Then I just decided to go back to the engine crew to finish the season. And once that was over, I got laid off. So I had a couple terms where I could go full-time student, full 16 credits per term. And I was just, okay, well, I'm just going to stay at school. I'm not going to apply for any jobs. I'm not going to accept no jobs. I just want to finish my degrees. Then there was this opportunity at Fire Management for that fuels tech. So I applied, went to the interview, got the call back, and, well, you're hired. Do you want to start? I was like, all right, well, yeah, I'll accept it. And basically just follow these opportunities. What I could try to mention to people is if there's an opportunity, and your supervisor will be understandable. My supervisors are very understandable and allow me to keep going to school and attend work. So you just have to follow those opportunities. If you see that window, go for it.
Yeah. There you hear at people, if you see an opportunity, you got to go for it.
Yes.
Okay, now let's talk about what are some of your hobbies? I mean, if you have any. I mean, if we're going to school full time and working full time, what do you do?
And working at the school as well.
Working at the school, yeah. What do you do? Like,
I don't sleep.
Yeah, right. I bet. And you got kids too, right?
I do have a daughter.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. How old's your daughter?
8 years old.
8 years old.
Yes.
Wow. Are you teaching her some of the stuff that you're learning?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
There you go. Apply it to the kids, man.
Yeah.
And then you're married or?
No.
Not yet?
Not yet.
That's awesome.
No,
That's
but
awesome.
Winona and myself been together for a few years, longer than a few years. So.
Is she going to school with you too?
Oh, yes, she is.
What's she going to school for?
For early childhood education.
Oh, wow. So you guys got everything together.
Oh, yes. At least we believe we do.
What can you tell other people that are coming through all this thing too? And, whether it's a couple where they have a kid, how do you keep it all together by going to school and having a full-time job? So it is possible, basically.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's all dependent on for instance, you said a couple. It's all based on support systems. The schedules. You're going to have a different schedule than each other. Your classes are going to be at the different times and locations, and you're both tired once you get home, and you have your kids or children. It's all based on schedules and support systems and teamwork, and you just have to follow through.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? It is possible.
It is possible.
Right. Now we're going to get to the fun part. All right. Just a few questions. All right. What's your favorite Indian movie?
My favorite.
Is that a hard one?
It is, because I'm trying to think of all the old ones.
Don't go for the old ones. Say something you like.
Okay, well, the most recent ones I like to watch, it's not a movie, but it's a TV series. It's the Into the West.
Into the West. I did see that TNT, right?
Yes.
There you go. What's your favorite album?
Album?
Or what are you listening to right now? If we go out to your car, turn on your radio, what's going to come on?
A whole bunch of hip-hop, R&B, and, more laid-back radio play or you have to have censored,
Yeah.
If you have a kid, you have to have censored music.
So you have sing-along music sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Frozen. There's been times I hopped on my sister's car and Frozen's playing in the background, sing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. And then where's 3 places we could find you?
3 places?
Yeah.
At Fire Management, at COCC, and on the road.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Truman Merrifield. Do find this guy, follow this guy. He's a big inspiration to the people here in Warm Springs. Shout out to Truman.
Thank you.